Alright, so we had an interview with the little girl, robots being destroyed in a picture on Twitter, and then a random massive update to the PTR. What's up, interwebs? My name is Cravol, and let's have a talk about Overwatch. Now, a lot of you have probably heard all of this already, but I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown really quickly. There are links to stuff in the descriptions since I'm not going to go into detail with the explanation, but a lot of what I will be talking about will be about some of the details. If you've read the title already, I'm sure you can guess once I get through that explanation. I'm just going to go through some of my theories on what might happen with this based off of what we know. So first of all, we have the interview with Ify Oladelli, however the frick you say that. Yep. So basically, she has received a grant for a lot of money, being recognized for a lot of her impressive achievements with robotics and AI, which is already an interesting thing. Remembering that the Omnics are not AI, they are actually sentient at this point. So we're not talking Omnics here. After this interview, we did have a few things in between that I do want to just mention really quickly. First of all, it was confirmed that while she's most likely not the next hero, and I mean, obviously she's like an 11-year-old girl, and you know, shooting an 11-year-old girl as Widowmaker or Soldier is kind of questionable. We do know for a fact that she is going to have to do with the next hero, and that the next hero is not Doomfist. Next, we had this image somewhere on the screen, hopefully here, I hope. Maybe it's floating around my head, I don't know. Where we had OR-15 defense units destroyed in Numbani at the airport. Now, again, these are not Omnics. She mentions these in her interview. These are AI defense bots. And, yeah, looks pretty violent there, what happened. Again, this is the attacker's spawn on Numbani, so this is a part of the map we've seen before. And, because of that, on the PTR shortly after this tweet was posted, guess what happened? PTR got updated. The spawn does actually resemble that with the, you know, robots destroyed. But beyond that, the Doomfist gauntlet is gone, as are the holographic schematics for it in the museum. Alright, so again, there's a link to both of these articles, the post and the article, in the description. And as to the PTR stuff, I'm sure you can find footage of it on YouTube, or you can get the PTR yourself. I'm sorry that I couldn't get footage myself. Alright, so moving on. What do I think is going to happen with this? We know, again, from earlier in the week that Doomfist is not going to be the next hero. More specifically, as Jeff put it, the 24th hero is not who you think it is. So that gives some leeway here, but at the same time, we know that they're not going to just add an 11-year-old girl to the game. I've seen a lot of theories about her character design being drones or her creation. I think this is unlikely, and I'll tell you why. Because every single character in Overwatch kind of has a theme and has a very strict personality, and that is why they're so lovable. When you see, you know, McCree, you know he's a cowboy, and even Bastion, you know, who talks only through beeps and boops, you can get a sense for his curiosity and kind of innocent nature, despite being a war machine, and that is what makes the characters of Overwatch so lovable. So I don't think they're going to add simply an AI to the game, especially since, again, we already have a Bastion who only talks through beeps and boops. I definitely think there's going to be an Omnic eventually, and I think this next hero could potentially be an Omnic. But here's what I will say about Effie and her relationship. I would bet that Effie is going to create some sort of weapon for the next hero. The next hero is going to be of Numbani origins, I believe. Again, these are all my theories. Next hero is going to be of Numbani origins, which could mean Omnic, and that his weapon is going to be, or a weapon that they use, will be created by Effie, or Ify, however you're supposed to say it. I'm going to keep going Effie because that's easy for me. I also had the theory for sort of a companion hunter idea, so she makes some sort of smaller AI that follows the next hero. And honestly, I really like this concept, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I like this concept because she mentions in the interview that she really likes the new OR-15s. Something that can keep us safe like the new or word for word, want to create things that make our lives better, and someday my dream is to build something that keep us safe, like the new OR-15s. I think that would be great. So I could see some sort of companion, and yes, I could honestly see the next character to a degree. I just think it's unlikely. She has also mentioned that they're going on a trip to celebrate, so I could see something inspired by another map. This one's a bit far out. Someone mentioned some sort of centaur creation, and that they were traveling to Ilios. And this was also somewhat supported by the fact that the OR-15s are actually four-legged, if you pay attention. Again, I think this is very far out there, but potentially possible, so I'm just throwing it in there as what might happen. Um, Stylos, I believe, mentioned that he thinks Doomfist and this girl are going to be released, or the character related to this girl are going to be released at the same time, and I find that unlikely. Um, yes, Overwatch has definitely learned its lesson with Sombra to be more careful with the hints it gives to these characters, but we do know that they have two teams constantly working on two heroes, so it seems unlikely that the team that has, in theory, just finished Sombra, who is now working on Doomfist, if I understand how this works properly, which I probably don't, but it seems unlikely to me that this team would rush through creating Doomfist in order to release at the same time. That being said, maybe these releases are much further out than we think, but honestly, I'm thinking more hints through the next week and probably a release in the following week, so 2 weeks from now is kind of what I'm seeing here, but we'll see. We'll see. And it's actually made weirder since PAX is coming up. Everyone assumed that Blizzard was going to do something there, but they're not going, like, at all, which is weird, at least from what I know. Again, I could be completely wrong about this. I should probably go back to the title of the video instead of going off on more tangents. Weapon-wise, I've seen a lot of people think that she is going to make the Doomfist, but again, I think it's important to remember that Doomfist is probably not the next hero. It is potentially possible that we'll get some sort of animated short that introduces the next hero, and then shows her, as one person suggested, being kidnapped by Talon, and, you know, we then have her forced to make a Doomfist gauntlet. I could see that, especially because they not only stole the Doomfist itself, but stole the schematics, and as one of my friends is very apt to point out, the Doomfists do change on each poster in Numbani. So, yeah, those are some of my thoughts on it. Honestly, I am not sure what to expect, in case that wasn't clear. I think there are a lot of potential directions they could go with this, but Blizzard has kind of left themselves open to do a lot with these characters, and we'll just have to wait and see what they actually do. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your theories are, what you guys think they're going to do, and yeah, have a great day, everyone. Toodles.